Welcome back to the Self-Healing Circle podcast.
Hello. It's been a little while, hasn't it?
A few weeks, yeah. We're out of practice.
Back to ground zero again.
Yeah. Camera shy. Well, today we thought we're going to talk about manifesting. So we put it out there on our Instagram and asked what people were interested in hearing about, and that actually was quite a popular one. So we thought, let's dive into how we manifest and how we create our reality. So,
look, I think manifesting is something that we all do naturally anyway. Like we can create our reality in a way that it's happening. Like for instance, and it's like a bit like deja vu. You think of somebody, and then the next day you see them.
Yes,
and then you kind of go, "How did that happen? Like, what causes?" the reality to happen,
to show up,
within hours or within a day or two.
Yeah.
And this is where the science and the spirituality can really link up.
Yeah, and explain so much. Yeah.
We were just discussing about Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he was linking up the thought, the emotion, and how that creates this magnetic field. Is that how you perceive it or see it?
So it's like the thoughts are the signal. So it's sort of what we're asking the universe for. So we're putting in our order to the universe, and then the emotions are like the magnetic field, which creates like a magnetic pull, and that's what draws those things in. So the two really have to be in alignment to create our manifestation. So whatever that's if we're intentionally manifesting. So the thing is, we're creating our reality all the time, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. So the life we're living usually is maybe unconsciously what our unconscious thoughts are and what our unconscious feelings are. And I think that's why it's really important to be doing the self-healing work, because if you're running on stressful emotions all the time and thinking fear thoughts, you got to be careful, because that's what your brain's looking for, and that's what's going to start to show up for you. So
100%.
Yeah. So we thought, while manifesting is a fun topic, that's why we do so much work around limiting beliefs, because unless we clear the blockages, we're going to keep recreating the same reality. So, so one of,
and if you're not careful, it comes with a disclaimer, is be careful what you wish for.
So true.
And there's always that saying, if you don't want to wish something to your worst enemies, then don't allow it to happen, because what will ultimately happen is it can sort of come back at you.
Yeah.
And when people say, tenfold, and this, no, it does actually come back.
Because it's got to leave your energetic field. So if you're angry or resentful or thinking nasty thoughts, that vibration is in your being first and then emitting out. So it sort of stays in your energetic field. And that's why, we have to be careful, because you're actually drawing that back into yourself.
Can I just give you a real life example of...
You're so good for that. Yeah, I'm going to put this up for you.
My example here is, I was married previously, and I'd just broken up, and it just turns out that we both got married. My ex and I got both married on the same day. And when I heard this, I didn't know this. I wished it was going to be a bloody hot day.
Yeah.
And for him. Now, I didn't know that his wedding was exactly on the same day as mine.
Oh, my God.
And we had mutual friends, but then I found out. And then, obviously, what happened? It was a bloody freaking hot day. It was 40 degrees day. Palm Sunday. It was a Palm Sunday the following day. I remember this because they had the palms going over. And it was so bloody hot. I was caught in my own shit.
Wow.
That's what I manifested. I know, it was a huge lesson for me. So that's why I say, be careful what you wish for. Even on your... He wasn't my worst enemy. It was just, damn, the guy got married,
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of history. That's understandable,
But, that's the immature sock from, how many years ago to now you go, now I know the lesson. And what did I learn from that? Don't ever do that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Awareness and becoming more conscious is so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think so many people want to manifest, and more people are becoming aware that they are the creators of their reality. And we are, like you said, seeing science starting to back that.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are like, but I'm doing it. I'm setting the intention. I'm visualizing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But it's still not happening. And we know that to truly manifest something, you have to feel like you've already living it, embodying it, already received it. And everyone's in this waiting phase.
Waiting for it to actually happen.
Yeah. And so they're in the vibrational field of, I want it and I'm waiting for it. So they're getting more of that energy. That's what they're tuned into.
And, what they're tuning into really is the form of lack.
Yeah.
Because they don't have it already and they just want it so bad, because the feeling of them feeling inadequate or lacking abundance, lacking wealth or lacking love, and they want it so badly that the thing that they don't want, because they're probably thinking about the thing that they don't want, which is, being lonely, or then they end up thinking the universe doesn't actually hear the word don't. It says, I want.
Yep.
It's like saying, I don't want to see that person, and then next minute you see that person.
Yeah, because you're putting it in your attention, like you're...
And the universe is from a high vibrational field. So when we put some good out there, you only hear the word want. So when we want something,
we get more.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
right?
and more feeling of lack. Yeah. And that's why I think it's really important to investigate where some of those blocks are, like where some of those limiting beliefs are, because it's like you can think positive thoughts and say nice affirmations, but it's like, imagine the iceberg under the sea. Like the positive thoughts are just like the tip of the iceberg, and just that little tip is not going to manifest, because you're manifesting based on the deeper parts of yourself. So if there's a lot of deep conditioning around not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, that's actually what you're drawing in. And that little bit of positivity, thinking, those affirmations isn't going to change what you're drawing in until you go into those deeper layers. And the thing is, a lot of people don't want to do the deeper work. And we know, because we facilitate a lot of healing circles now.
Yeah.
And we have noticed that people kind of come sometimes thinking they're just going to have this nice, enjoyable, relaxing experience. But when you're like going in there and unpacking things and finding these wounds, it's tender, and you have to bring them to the surface because they've been so suppressed and you've been hiding from them. Yeah. Even though they're still impacting your life, you haven't directly brought them up to the light. And when you do, there's a lot of, it's painful, and I call it the healing crisis. You've sort of got to break apart and then put yourself back together in a more higher vibrational way. But that is the work that you need to do to clear the things that are kind of sabotaging, allowing higher frequency manifestations into your energetic field.
And when you are going into that space, you just really got to start asking yourself and reframe a lot of things that are negative wording around certain things. And so by reframing and being curious of your emotions, why they're showing up, being open to those changes, is going to put you in a much higher vibrating energy, as opposed to saying, fuck this, I don't want to do this, I don't even know why the fuck I'm feeling like this. And they're the negative thoughts that can come through. And then when you actually start reframing and being curious and doing all the work and the healing, you can also start going, which I found, going down the path of, okay, what are some of the tricks that I can do to put me into my positive space, like reframing is, what am I grateful for today? Yeah. And those little things can suddenly boost your thought around, rather than thinking of the lack, you can start thinking more positively in what you are abundant in. Yeah. Like,
it's like retraining your brain.
Yeah, it is retraining. And you just got to catch yourself every time you do it, because I find that, okay, I might find that I might be comparing myself to others and go, oh, look, that person's got a really nice house, or that person's got a really nice car or job, and et cetera, et cetera. And that relationship, I really would love that relationship. And it's like, well, what have I got right now that I can really be grateful for? What sort of relationships do I have that I'm, really nourishing at the moment? And it's like my closest friends, I've got some amazing friends that I can be grateful for. You can't always choose your family, but you can choose your friends. Yeah, thank God. And there's some of the things, and then once you start thinking and feeling into that emotion, that magnetic pull to then bring in more abundance into your life, your relationship's going to flourish, not only just your relationships, but then everything else starts to fall in place.
Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And it is like, rather than those negative chatter, and I think for you it has been becoming aware as well, because I think sometimes we're not aware of the negative chatter. Like sometimes we just feel funky and we don't know why. And I think as we're becoming more conscious to our internal world and the thoughts that we have, in popping up in our minds, and it is sometimes, like you said, just not going for that ride. Like when that thought of like, oh, they've got really great things and I just don't feel as good as them, or I'm envious of that. Like you said, it's catching that and not festering in it.
Yes. Yeah.
And then directing it towards, like, what can I be grateful for in my life? Even if it's like, even if you can't just say, I am grateful for this, just be like, what can I be, oxygen.
Yeah, I'm grateful for oxygen.
I have
right?
food on my table.
I know,
like,
you have
what
food,
can I?
right?
You just start somewhere
or some
little.
shelter. You're like
we are so much more fortunate than most
Yeah.
people, and we forget because it becomes our norm. But we need to really work at recognizing all of us are fortunate in our own ways, and it's just us acknowledging and trying to, make that practice that we teach our brain to look for the things that we can be grateful for. And it shifts our state straight away.
Absolutely. And the moment I start thinking and shifting that, like when I said I've got great friends, instantly my heart just felt warm.
You're happy to be around.
And when you look for the simple things in life. If you're not sure of what it is, I'm here and I'm breathing. Or if you look out in the garden, what do you have? You have an abundance of grass. You've got a lawn, or you might have a tree that's got some fruit on there. You go, wow, I'm so abundant.
Yeah.
I don't actually have to go to the shops to go buy, some lemons because they're so expensive. Yeah. I've got a lemon tree. Oh my God, I'm so abundant with lemon. And that's, and you see the dollar signs on the tree. You're like, oh God, that would have cost me X, Y, Z. Yeah, exactly.
You see possibilities too.
They're the little miracles in life that you can look for. If you want to I see a basket of all my gratitudes and then fill that up, because once you've got that, I mean, really, and everything else is cream on top, right?
Yeah, and you live in a different world. Like you said, you can live in a world of everything's lack here.
Yeah.
Or your world does change based on your internal state. Like you see people that don't have much, and the funny thing is,
they're the happiest.
Most countries that are the wealthiest, or the wealthiest people, as we have seen, are the most depressed. Mm-hmm. So having more resources doesn't necessarily make you happier. So we've got to realise it is in the simplicity and the gratitude that really, I think, happiness thrives.
Yeah.
And one of the other things you said about, like, when we are in those what we feel are negative emotional states, rather than just getting, lost in that, we're really big on being okay with how you feel as well. Yeah. Because I think also if you try to bypass, like, being grateful doesn't mean bypassing how you're feeling. So there is a place for sitting with things. So if it is that the feeling underneath those thoughts is just feeling not good enough, or you just feel lesser than in some way, or you have less, sometimes actually it's okay to not to indulge it with extra thoughts and then make this a big part of your identity. It's okay to sit with that and just be like, I can still love myself from this place, because if you're resisting whatever's coming up for you, you actually are going to make it more magnified. Yeah. It's like what we resist persists. Yeah. So you can still shift your emotional state by being with those uncomfortable emotions, but from a loving, accepting place, being like, I can still love this part of me, and I'm going to just give whatever's showing up unconditional love and just acceptance, because that actually shifts your state too, because you come back to a very neutralized, loving, pouring gratitude into yourself. Yeah. So we can look for things to be grateful outside of us, but we can also look for things to be grateful for, even just holding space
for yourself,
for ourselves and our feelings and emotions,
so
and not wronging ourselves or shaming ourselves for whatever comes up. Yeah. So
it's all the conditioning of our environment, isn't it?
Totally.
And generational.
Yeah. So I look at you as the manifesting queen, and you love it. You have such a passion for it. What if you were to give just a couple of tips to people, or from your own experience, what would you want to share that can help them?
Ooh, gosh, there's a lot. Okay, I like the lemon story, and I always talk about the lemon theory, like where if you can smell and think of a lemon and taste the lemon, and you can see it, you are already you've already put your mind and your body in a state of feeling and tasting the lemon. That's your manifesting.
Yeah. So you can apply that to different things you want to.
So you want to see and feel the future. If you want to feel it like as if it's in the now. If you want to be on a tropical island with some salt water, think of the salt water splashing on your face, and tasting the salt water as you going for that swim in the sea or the ocean. Those things are it's the feeling and the thought are the two things that connect your dream or your wish to the actual future being fulfilled in the now. I listen to a lot of Neville Goddard as well, and the trick to that one was it's having faith in the end result, and that was it is already done. Yeah. So it's already done.
Surrendering such a big part of that, isn't it?
And just not fight it and just go, oh, look, I've already got it.
Yeah.
And how do you know if you've already got it? Well, you just try to think of something that you can relate to. So you can have a vision board. Mm-hmm. That's another one. And just stick some pictures and have a feeling of what that paper money will be like in your hand if it's money that you're wanting manifest. Or seeing yourself write a check to yourself and keeping in your purse. I think it was Jim Carrey that did something like that, and he's the king of manifesting himself. Like, $10 million in his first check that he wrote to himself for the film of Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, I remember that.
So these are some of the things. Yeah. There's so many people out there that are doing. You can look for people that you look up to inspire you to manifest your goal. And that's what I did in my journey. My dad was one of the biggest manifestors and inspirational people who he took no. He didn't take no for an answer. So he always knew that if you wanted something, you work towards your goal. Mm-hmm. And even if you think it's most impossible, you've got it. Yeah. Already. That. Yeah. It's already done, it's already yours, and just have faith in the process. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. I've got to say, back in my younger years, I did a lot of vision boards, and even when I would compete in the earlier days, I would visualize the outcome, and it was powerful. And I think once you start intentionally manifesting, and then you see things come into your reality, you see your manifestations, become your reality, then it helps you believe in it more. And I think that then just gets that energy and that power. It gets the ball rolling.
Yeah. And the other thing is also don't listen to the outside, because some people might think your wish is your wish, and you got to be careful who you tell as well, because their thoughts can have a negative effect on your outcome.
Yeah, or make you doubt yourself as well.
Yeah, so doubt is probably one of the biggest killers to your future goal and dream.
Agreed,
The moment you start doubting yourself, you then start doubting every process of the whole entire manifestation. So be careful who you tell. Tell the right people.
Yeah, that are on your team and that can. I always say, when you collectively manifest something, like if you,
it's so powerful.
I think the more conscious people that believe in it, see your vision, believe it with you, I think is really powerful. So you do. I really agree with that.
Well, I grew up with my brothers and sisters saying that, soccer's always lucky. And you start believing that because everyone else is thinking about it.
I love that. You're like, yes, tell me more great things about me that I
know. I know I'm so lucky. And and you go up thinking that you are always lucky.
It's become part of your identity almost,
and it can happen the opposite as well.
Yes, 100%.
people say, I'm the black sheep of the family, turn out that they're putting all these negative thoughts around themselves. And it's like, well, if you think like that, of course you're going to be like the black sheep of the family.
Yeah,
and not getting what you want.
Yeah. So what do you think the key takeaway with this one? Where should people start? If they were to do one thing today.
One thing today is start filling your basket up with some grateful thoughts of your life.
Yes, that's a great
What are you grateful for in your life today?
Yeah.
That you don't have control of anything else, but what have you got right now? And it could be, I don't know, if you're at school or something, I have an abundance of pencils. You know, back in the day, you didn't have pens or pencils, you know. Some countries don't have pens and pencils. You might, oh my God, I've got lots of things. It's a simple thing like pens and pencils. Or if you've got a phone.
Yeah, even one I would do is I would write down 3 things I was grateful for at the end of the day. One would be something that happened that day. One would be one thing I'm grateful about myself, like that I can appreciate about myself. And then just one other thing about like opportunities and that. And after I would write each one, I would actually just sit in the feeling state of it. Like I'd write it, but then I would actually like really just sit with it and just let that sensation of that gratitude like really feel it in my heart. And I found that was a really good practice as well. Yeah,
that's awesome. If you don't have pens, you think of it.
just oxygen.
Just think of it.
Something.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.